Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is a podcast, listen to a podcast. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is the podcast, listen to the podcast.
And welcome to the Cobley and Matt Sit in a Room Whilst Talking About Some Things podcast. My name is Matt, and the other one is called Cobley. You should have known that already. It's in the title, idiot.
Hello.
Hi, Cobley. You all right?
I'm all right. How are you? Apart from padding out the introduction again.
I'm not padding it out. I'm getting straight. This is the best intro we've done yet.
This is you getting straight to the point. Okay, go on. Sorry.
The song, right, what you just heard, was called Fashion by an obscure fella called... Bowie or something.
Yeah, David Bowie.
I think he died in a car crash or something. Anyway, the reason we played it was partly to honour his memory. May he rest in peace. He was a candle in the wind. Partly
I think he wrote that song.
I believe so, yeah. It's a little known fact. He wrote that. I think he co-wrote it with Princess Margaret.
Something like
that. Yeah, partly that, and partly because this week's podcast is going to be us talking about fashion.
Correct. Something which I like to think we don't really know much about.
He likes to think it because it is true.
Yes, although we do know how to dress nowadays.
We're quite trendy guys.
Dress quite well.
For some reason, you've come to this podcast dressed in a Victorian safari suit.
By that you mean a hoodie and jeans.
My history's a bit hazy.
Yes, but as I said, nowadays I like to wear big collar shirts. You like to wear clothes.
Yeah, I'm not a nudist anymore.
Those days have passed you.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like that, was it not, Matt? I mean, we both got... Well, I've got a quiff, you've got a quiffy type thing going down. What is it? What is that on your head? How would you describe it? Because it's a bit like a quiff.
It's just sort of hair. It's a kind of Dennis the Menace kind of look. I'm going for old Dan. DM, I like to call him. Like the biscuit.
DM?
Yeah, you know, the biscuit. DM. I eat them biscuits.
Yes. Don't even know if they do them anymore.
The fashionable biscuits, that's why I eat them, because I am fashionable.
And you also have a bit of a beard going down as well, don't you, nowadays?
Beards are in, man.
They actually are. I see everybody's got a beard.
Yeah, even the women have got beards.
I don't have a beard. Maybe I'm just not in. I'm not in with the in crowd.
Well, you may not externally have a beard, but everyone has a beard within them.
Perhaps.
Back in high school, I remember you had quite an interesting haircut.
This is true.
How do I describe this? I think what it was generally referred to as by our co-students and antagonists.
The cock of the class.
Yeah, the old cock.
Back refer a previous podcast.
Yeah, we do callbacks now. We're sophisticated in that. Was bushhead, which to me seems to kind of misrepresent what was actually on your head, because I don't recall there being any actual foliage there.
No, but some foliage may have got caught up in there from time to time.
I suppose that is where it came from, yeah. It was a kind of like early 60s Beatles mop.
Well, I think it stems back from I used to be a massive... Well, I like the Beatles, but I used to be a massive fan of the Beatles.
Everyone likes the Beatles.
Yeah, well...
Even people who don't like the Beatles like
Even
the
people
Beatles.
who don't like the Beatles are clearly in denial about not liking them. And we've all gone through a phase where we pretend we don't like the Beatles. And then you just learn to accept it, that they're actually all right. But anyway,
it's true.
I was obsessed with the Beatles, and the hairdresser that used to come round to our house and cut her hair, I think she was called Tracy or something like that.
Did she just come without any invitation?
Well,
cutting your hair in your sleep.
Well, she'd generally book an appointment with my mother and come round. She wouldn't just turn up with scissors in her hands, like screeching.
It's cutting time, Cobley!
A really high-pitched screech.
With massive garden shears.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
All right, well, glad you clarified.
And I used to show pictures of Ringo Starr. So, will you cut it like that for me, please?
Right.
I want to look like Ringo Starr from the 60s, not when they grew like the really long hair.
I like that.
So essentially, I had like a mop head.
And I realise, by the way, at this point, that a lot of this podcast is us just talking about when we were in school, but I'm going to carry on doing it anyway.
Shaped our lives, Matt. Shaped our lives.
I remember some lesson or other where, I think it might have been PSE or something, don't know what that stands for, can't think of anything amusing that could go with those letters.
I think it was personal and social
Education, which basically means just make up a lesson and just do that. And I remember in one lesson they had everyone in the class individually state if there's been like any pop stars who had influenced their hairstyle or just general look, and then everyone would say, I want to be like Britney Spears, that was my one. And then you said the Beatles, and then everyone in the class laughed at you and you cried for 5 days.
Well, I don't remember any of this. I don't even think it was a repressed memory. Did any of that actually happen?
Yeah, it did. I know the line between reality and fantasy is blurred on this podcast, but that did happen. If I was making something up, I'd have said, then you fell down a trapdoor.
I didn't cry for 5 days, though, did I?
Might have tried for 5 days, but...
Yeah, I really don't remember.
Yeah, so fortunately, I've never had any kind of embarrassing haircut.
Yeah, apart from the perm in college. The perm.
Fortunately, I've never had an embarrassing haircut that I'm embarrassed about.
The funny thing is, this is not even made up. You did actually have you grew your hair
shoulder
length, and then decided one day to. Why did you decide to perm your hair?
That perm was brilliant. I looked brilliant in that perm.
Yeah, you were like the talk of the whole school, but...
there was that one boy, Simon Clark, who refused to even speak to me at all. In fact, whenever I addressed him, he'd just say, "Perm, perm."
You kind of did bring all this shit on yourself, though, didn't you?
I wanted to look like Paul McGann from off of Doctor Who.
Does he have a perm?
He had curly hair. It's the same as having a perm.
I think he just wore a wig, didn't he, Matt? Why didn't you just wear a wig?
I could have been wearing a wig. How do you know? Bushhead.
Because I'm pretty sure people were probably running around pulling at your perm.
Yeah, I like that perm. It was a good time.
So you did it to look like Paul. You didn't look anything like anybody. You just looked like...
I look brilliant in my perm. I look like some kind of heroic, like, Victorian gentleman. That is what in my head I thought I looked like.
Yeah, Victorians did used to get perms, didn't they?
They permed the shit out of their hair, them Victorians.
It's definitely a late 1800s hairstyle, isn't it, Matthew?
Yeah. In many ways, it's a noughties haircut. I was ahead of my time.
But then one day you woke up and looked in the mirror for the first time and thought, what the fuck is this?
To be fair, I do that every morning, so, you know.
Since that day. And then you shaved it all off, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the shortest my hair's ever been, number one.
Mm-hmm. What did you do with the locks? Did you do anything special with them? Do you still have them?
Well, Cobley, I'm glad you asked. What I did with them, right, is I sellotaped them to my little brother, Jonathan, and tried to sell him on eBay as a kind of obscure, like, Sasquatch.
Did he get purchased?
Yeah, I believe he's owned by some bloke in Canada now, living as a Sasquatch.
Sorry. At least he can come back home for the holidays.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Nicely lets him come back.
I'm surprised the sellotapes held that long. You'd think that the illusion would be shattered at some point, but
and he's a good man, Jonathan, for playing along with it as well. Really,
he's a good sport, old Johnny.
He is.
Yeah. But you know, apart from that, I don't think there's anything about my past that can be considered embarrassing.
No. Well.
Actually, come to think of it, I say that. I did actually find an old picture of myself the other day when I was a bit younger, and I was wearing something a little bit embarrassing.
Go on.
I was like in a nappy. I was 25 years old. Anyway, it's the only joke in the show.
Yeah, well, I suppose that leads us nicely onwards in a weird kind of way to the fact that fashion isn't all about haircuts, it is about clothing as well, and other things too.
We consider all the angles on this show, don't we?
We do. We'll cover every angle. So, with reference to clothes, they do things, and because I shop at River Island because I don't go anywhere else.
This week's podcast is sponsored by River Island.
It is. Enjoy the island.
Yar!
Yeah. So anyway, I generally shop at River Island. On the website, it's always this look is just in the something. You know, and they'll say like they'll give it a name. You know, like the old codger look,
the salty tramp.
Yeah. Things like that. And apparently these things are like in for the summer or in for the spring, and the different styles and stuff. Now, I don't really follow that. I just tend to aim for like shirts with giant collars and purchase all of them.
Gotta have the big collars.
Yeah. So I kind of avoid that, but presumably there's some kind of trend that someone somewhere is making up and getting
who is in charge of doing that? That's what I want to know.
Who knows?
Who gets to say, okay, this is good now? Because I want to be that person. I want to be the one who decides it.
You want to be the one that walks down the street, sees a salty tramp on the roadside, you know, asking for some spare change and going, I like that look. That look, it's in, and then rush.
That's what I would say to the
rush into Top Man and go, I've got the look. You know, you could rush into Top Man, dragging this tramp behind you, saying, I've got the look. Strip him off and put the clothes on a mannequin dummy.
Right, okay. I'm going to try that next week, and next week's podcast I'll come back with a report of what happened when I did that.
A satellite link up from Preston Prison.
Yeah.
Yes, but you spent a lot of time in a leather jacket, I noticed. Although saying that I had a leather jacket as well, but you took it to a higher level. You had a bit of a 70s thing going down. What influenced that?
I don't know, really. It's weird. I think, see, I get like obsessed with stuff, and if I decide something's a good idea, I will do it to death.
Like a perm.
So at first I had this leather jacket, and I thought, I love having a leather jacket. It is brilliant when I've got a leather jacket. I look dead good. So what I've done then is I bought fucking loads of them, but not good ones, like shit ones that are like tatty old man's leather jackets from charity shops, and just wear nothing but leather jackets. And then after that, I decided that leather jacket was perfect for looking like you're a man who has accidentally escaped from the 70s. So I integrated that into my general look, and I spent about 2 years looking like Sam Tyler from Life on Mars.
Flured jeans.
But like a reverse one, like where someone from the 70s had accidentally woken up in 2005 or whenever the fuck it was.
You'd been run over by a Ford Capri in the 70s and woke up in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
But still wearing those clothes.
They were good times. There's nothing interesting to say about this.
No, it's just a statement of fact, I suppose, isn't it?
A lot of the stuff in this podcast is just us saying facts.
It is.
Yeah. Hey, Cobley, do you remember when we went to Paris that time? Not in a romantic way. We're not weird like that.
Oh, dear. Yes, with media studies for college.
Do you remember my brilliant fashion?
The nightcap.
Yeah, and
I do.
And the sort of gown thing, like I was Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah,
it was good, wasn't it?
Where did you even buy that from? Where'd you get these fucking things?
I actually bought it from this very strange bloke. He was like sat under a bridge in Wigan. He sort of opened his jacket and he was all like nightcaps and stuff. It was weird. And
Would
then
you describe him as a salty tramp?
I believe I would. He also offered to let me go in his van, but I said no, I was busy.
Snip, snip.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think I just must have gone through a phase in my life where I just thought I was from a different time.
But you couldn't quite decide what time it was.
I was a bit confused. You know, people growing up, they're confused, aren't they? Some people are confused about like what music they like. Some people are confused about the best football team. I was confused about what century I was from.
Yeah, I do remember from that Disney trip, just detracting from the fashion conversation for a second, you going through the security to get into Disneyland Paris.
Yep.
With a pair of scissors in your pocket and a laser pen, getting them seized from you by the French security, and then declaring that you essentially wanted revenge on all of the French as a result of that.
You know, Cobley, I still feel a slight grudge against the French for that day. And, you know, I will have my pair of scissors and my laser pen back. So if there's anyone listening to this podcast from France, I just want it to be known that I'm coming to get you, or at least to get my scissors and laser pen. So watch out.
But the quaking in the boots, the security at Disneyland Paris.
They are definitely listening, I would imagine.
Yeah, they are fans. My high school / college fashion tended to be a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, and that old raincoat that I used to wear all the time.
It was brilliant, that raincoat.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was like a black and white raincoat that I wore every single day to school and to college.
It was a sort of, like, I think it must have been quite a cheap one, but it looked all right within the first sort of 2 months that you had it.
And it started, like, wrinkling up.
Yeah.
And smelling.
And, like, mould appearing on it, and, like, small woodland animals living in it.
Yeah, well,
and,
at
least
one
one Sasquatch.
I didn't mind them living in there.
It's fair enough, innit? Yeah, and it was like, through stubbornness and the fact that everyone would constantly rag on you for always wearing it, you just always wore it more than what you would have originally always worn it.
Exactly, yeah. I think I fancied myself as Columbo for a short period of time, but then it took over the fact that teachers would try and get me to take it off during class, and I just keep it on. To wind them up. And indeed, there was that 124-hour period where I took some kind of personal challenge to wear the raincoat for 24 hours solid, which I did do, including showering in the raincoat.
Yeah, that is...
This isn't even funny, is it? It's just depressing, really.
I'm just trying to imagine how you managed the shower thing. Did you take your other clothes off and do some kind of Mr. Bean style muck around to get your t-shirt off?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But what I like about that is that no one was watching you or keeping tabs on you to make sure you did it, but you still did it.
I just did it. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah.
But it weren't a designer coat or nothing. It was just like something picked up from Quicksave or something.
I think it was. Yeah. Designer things. What makes something a designer thing, Matt?
Well,
you know, at what point did Mr. Burberry go from being insulted by all his other fashion colleagues for wearing something that looked like he'd thrown up all over himself to being an expensive item of clothing?
It's weird, isn't it? Now, we're dead sophisticated in that, so is what we're about to do some kind of satire on the consumerist paradigm, or are we just making a rubbish observation?
I think we're just making a rubbish observation.
Yeah. Because I don't understand it either. I don't understand why some bloke's surname makes something better than the same thing without the bloke's surname on it.
I mean, presumably it's... I don't know. He must be some kind of celebrity within this fashion world of which we don't make much of, and he or she might make some things that are pretty good, get a name for themselves, then can sell stuff for a heightened price, like going watching a band.
Yeah,
you know, paying a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh, I'd love to wear some Cobley trousers. That would be brilliant. I think there might be an element of people just liking the name.
Maybe that as well.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would like trousers with like Cobley written all down the leg. And like just every inch of them covered with the word Cobley.
Do you think I should try for putting some of them out?
There's at least I would say one person that would be well into that.
I'll nip to River Island in the morning.
Replace some of their stock. Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, and
because it'll all you replace their stock with your Cobley trousers.
Yeah, I'll just shove it on a rack.
Yeah, and people will assume that because River Island are selling it, that it's maybe part of a salty tramp look.
Perhaps. Yeah. Maybe that's how they do it. Maybe that's how these designers do it.
Maybe all designers just replace the stock in shops until people just accept that is...
Sneak into stores and shove a few t-shirts up on a rack. Yeah, I think it could possibly work.
We missed a trick here.
We're not old yet. We could still do it.
Yeah. Not just with like clothes.
Not just with Cobley trousers.
Yeah.
We could do it with like hair products.
Do it like shaving foam.
Yeah, exactly. We could really get into this.
We could like spit into a jar, put that on the shelves as shaving foam.
Cobley
shaving foam.
Yeah, I think you're really getting into this Cobley brand, aren't you? I think you should definitely be the...
Well, there's something about the Cobley name that makes me inherently trust it, I think.
It's a trustworthy name. It speaks to the common man.
I'd smear your spit all over my face.
Shut up, Matthew. Talking about designer stuff and expensive designer stuff.
Yep.
Tell the good people about what your father's been up to recently with the
well,
what kind of
I don't know
handbags
Cobley right because Are we allowed to? Because I think there might be an ongoing case about it.
Yeah.
I suppose we can edit it out and post if it's not all right.
I don't think there's a law about this, about talking about the...
What it is, cases. Right? My dad... I do feel a bit uncomfortable.
Well, it's in topic, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah. You know that big designer of handbags, Mulberry? They do like well expensive handbags with like jewels in them and stuff. I don't know. I've not actually seen any of them.
No.
But my dad thought of this brilliant idea, right? What he thought of was like if he could make his own ones.
Knock-off handbags.
Yeah, and like to make it look like they are the real ones, then they are the same as just the real ones, aren't they? So, you know, if you follow his logic there, he's on something.
Sell them at half the price.
Yeah.
You get, I think so.
So he's been doing that for a bit, and, you know, he's been making a bit of a success for himself by doing it. So he's sort of, like, expanded his business a bit into, I think it's Woking, where he's got, like, a load of school kids... Because it's really easy to tell school kids to do a thing. That's what my dad thought anyway. So he's got them doing... So he's like Fagin from Oliver Twist. He's sort of a Fagin that makes the children make handbags instead of a Fagin that does whatever he does. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know what he does in the Oliver Twist. I mean, who knows? Who knows what he gets?
Maybe he does. Maybe that is exactly what Oliver Twist is about. Handbag manufacture. Maybe. Anyway, so he's got this load of kids making handbags for him. Now, the thing is, like last week... Mulberry, the handbag company that he's sort of copying off, got a bit cross about what he was doing.
And told the police. Big raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like child bloody employment issues.
I don't get that. Why? Just because they're small humans doesn't mean to say they can't work a good day's work.
Yeah, but you say good. He did essentially kidnap some of these children and force them to work in incredibly hot conditions.
You know, now I tell this story back, it does sound a bit bad, doesn't it?
And we probably actually shouldn't be talking about this, should we?
No, probably not.
No, I'm sure he'll pay off some of the
jury.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, he usually sorts something out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, get a lesser sentence.
Speaking of handbags, though, do you remember...
Nice.
Do you remember, like, how... And we don't really do this so much anymore. Every time we went to a party of anyone's, we would spontaneously, and for no reason at all, go to the nearest woman's wardrobe, put dresses on.
Matt, I recall doing this once...
Yeah, it's more interesting if I imply that we always did it.
And I recall being coerced into wearing women's clothing.
Oh, it's less interesting than my version.
Well, yeah, it was.
Why did we do that?
Don't know. And were people even that interested?
No.
I think we were just a bit drunk.
We weren't. We just arrived and we went straight to the cupboard.
I was trying to make this sound better, Matthew.
Oh, no. Still, it was quite comfy.
Yeah, they were nice dresses.
Yeah. You don't shave your legs, I noticed. Although, do you remember that time you waxed your chest for absolutely no reason at all?
That was just an experiment to see what it looked like.
What would happen if you waxed your chest?
Yeah, well,
I've no hair on my chest. I'll write my results down in my science book.
I just wanted to know what it would look like if my hairy chest was bereft of hair. And as it turned out, it was just extremely painful. And I just got an extremely spotty chest for a few weeks until the hair grew back.
So, yeah. You were silky smooth, though.
Yes.
Yes, you were.
Although I do remember going down south to visit our good pal Leslie and having to wear my shirt buttoned right up to the top with also a tie so that it didn't show any of the raw redness of my poor chest.
That there was absolutely no way that you could explain.
Exactly.
Here's a weird thing. Like, my boss at work, right, the other day, she said to me, and what interested me the most about this was the way she asked it me. She began by saying, Matt, you're a bloke, right?
To which you automatically responded, no.
No, I'm not. I don't be sarcastic with my boss. I need the job.
So you said yes.
Yeah, I said yeah. And she said, why do all men, and remember this is all men, why do all men put their hands down their tracksuit bottoms around the groin area? And, you know, I've got two issues with that. One, I don't believe that all men who own tracksuit bottoms do that. And two, why would she think I knew?
What did you say?
I said, probably warm down there, innit?
Fair enough. Maybe that's the reason why all men do that.
All men do that.
It seems to be a I don't know. They're called chavs, aren't they? People that dress up in tracksuits and stuff. Maybe it's a chav thing to do, like a I don't know, some kind of status thing. I don't even know.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I think what we should do now is everyone's favourite bit. Come on, crack a smile. You know what's coming. It's the Cobley's Dreams segment.
Why do you keep peddling this? It's so shit.
I can't tell you how much fan mail I got about this. Right, what we do, right, every week is I ask Cobley what dreams he has had about the thing we're talking about the week. And, every time it's a killer. It's a killer. So, Cobley, it's the Cobley's Dreams segment. What dreams have you had about fashion?
This is getting dire, this, Matthew.
It's brilliant.
I occasionally have those dreams, where you're completely naked in public spaces.
Oh, right,
that's
great.
I suppose that's like anti-fashion.
And that's the end of the Cobley's Dreams section. It was brilliant. See, I think that went well.
I don't think it did.
You'll be back next week. Stay tuned.
Won't be back next week. It's being jettisoned.
We'll see about that. We'll see what happens.
You got any tattoos, Matthew? Tattoos are fashionable, I think.
So that is why it's pertinent to this episode.
And we're not filling time.
I've not got any tattoos, actually, and I don't believe you have either. And I think we spoke about this in the past, haven't we? We think we should both get the same tattoo.
It's like a joke to our future selves that would disagree with doing something ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, it's like a prank, isn't it?
Mm.
We were thinking of getting a tattoo of the word les, but like not in like fancy letters or anything, just in a really boring font like Arial or something. Just les. And the best thing about that is, like, years from now, maybe where we won't even know why we did that or who Les was, but we'll have this annoying Les written on it.
Les being obviously our best friend.
Yeah.
At this moment in time.
At the moment, keep him on his toes.
Yeah.
If he plays his cards right, he might be able to stay our friend.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alternatively, I was thinking maybe, how people get older through time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of getting a tattoo of my young face on my face so it stays young forever.
Yeah, I don't think that'd work.
Oh, it's worth a try though, wasn't it?
No. Did you know, and I only learnt this today.
Go for it.
Or was it yesterday?
Doesn't matter,
that really. Many years ago, you could only walk into a tattoo parlour and choose something that was within the tattoo parlour to draw upon you. You couldn't walk in and say, can you draw me a picture of an enchanted parrot?
So that'll explain why there's so many Winnie the Pooh tattoos knocking about.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But
when was this?
What do you mean? I don't know. Like 15,
back in Victorian times.
No, like 15 years ago. Yeah, you couldn't customise a tattoo. Apparently, maybe you could. I don't fucking know. So what someone told me anyway. It's a little anecdote for you there.
And we all enjoyed it. I think that's the point. Cobley, I don't know about you. I'm getting a slight feeling we've lost a bit of momentum with this podcast. I don't know if we'll make it to the end. Yeah,
I think I've run out of things to say.
I mean,
well, to be honest, I've run out of things to say a long time ago.
I think once we got to talking about Winnie the Pooh tattoos, it's not going to work, is it?
No.
If there's got to be something we can do to fill in the time.
How long have we got left?
About 10 minutes, probably.
Fuck's sake!
Why does this always happen every week?
It's because we're talking about things that we don't know anything about.
Why didn't we realise when we came up with this premise that it would never work?
We should be talking about things that we know about.
That's what we should have done. We didn't do that. Damn it. Right, okay.
There's always the old fallback of taping something off ITV, isn't there?
ITV's been doing a lot of brilliant programming lately.
It has. And in fact, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it, but there's an extended trailer that they keep playing on ITV, and it's bound to be on tonight, about that new docudrama.
I think I've heard about it.
About the history of Marks and Spencer's. Basically, they've rebooted the history of Marks and Spencer's.
Marks and Spencer's.
They've rebooted Marks and Spencer's, and they're doing a documentary on the reboot. Well, I say a documentary. It's a docudrama. They've dramatised it. The history of.
That'd be brilliant. I think our listeners would like that if we tape something off ITV that they can see on ITV.
Marks and Spencer's is fashionable. Yeah. It's fashion. And we're talking about fashion. So if we shove that on, then it's a bit of advertising for ITV, and it solves our little problem of
that's all right.
With dead air.
All right, we'll do that. Thanks for listening, everyone. Next week, we won't run short, don't worry.
Don't even know what we're talking about next week. Will we be back next week?
Nah.
I think probably one of us will commit suicide by then.
I am teetering on the brink.
Yeah, I can feel myself going.
I, Barnabas J. Steeplejack, do hereby bequeath my vast fortune to my only living relatives, my 2 sons, Mark and Spencer Steeplejack.
An old man on his deathbed, his final dying wish to reunite his 2 sons.
On the condition that they invest my fortune into a business together.
Mark and Spencer work together? But Barnabas, you 2 lads haven't spoken to each other in over 20 years.
Damn it, Alistair, you're my lawyer. I don't pay you for your family mediation advice, you balding bastard.
2 sons that will one day become legends on the high street.
On the condition that you, Mark Steeplejack, and you, Spencer Steeplejack, enter a joint business venture using your father's fortune as business capital.
Whoa, hold your horses right there, Alistair. I'm not working with this twat.
Don't you call me a twat. Do you think I want to work with you? I just want my inheritance.
It's always about the money with you, isn't it?
Gentlemen, please. Your father did stipulate that if you can't come to an agreement, your father's entire fortune will be donated to Branston Pickle.
I bloody hate that Richard Branston.
With the end of a legacy comes the beginnings of an empire.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Well, if we're going to be starting a business together, I can tell you now, it's not going to be a bloody clothes shop. We'll be selling food. People will always need food.
People will always need food, but people will always need clothes as well, you daft bastard.
Oi, have some respect. They're just shoving Dad underground.
Look, if we're going to work together, we're going to have to compromise. How about food and clothes?
ITV presents a new docudrama serial from the writers that brought you Licorice Crescent and Elephant Man, The Younger Years.
I can see it now, above this door in neon lights, 10 foot high. Marks and Spencer.
Hey, there's no way your name's going before mine, Mark. No way in hell, you arrogant bastard.
It's alphabetically correct. You can't argue with the alphabet, Spencer.
You can't argue with my fist.
Hey! Come on then, bring it! Bastard! What? Wanker! Cunt! Buttocks!
Marks and Spencer, The Beginning. Based on the true story of the origin of the high street chain of Marks and Spencer.
Shirley Flutterbunny.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance, Ms. Flutterbunny.
I see from your CV that you're more than qualified for the role as one of our checkout girls.
Aye, it's very clear to me that you've got excellent assets.
Assets? You can't say that. Are you referring to her tits?
No, I'm not referring to her tits.
It's the 21st century, Mark. You can't be a sexist pig in this day and age. I do apologise for my colleague, Ms. Flutterbunny. Marks and Spencer's is a very forward-thinking organisation.
Okay. Have I got the job then?
Have you got the job? Have you got the job? You've got it 2 times over, my dear. 2 times over.
Will you stop going on about her tits? I'm very sorry, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Right, well, I could sit and talk all day about political correctness, but for now, I guess I'll see you both on Monday for the grand opening.
That's our checkout girl.
I think I love her, Spencer.
From its humble beginnings as a small department store in Warrington.
So, without further ado, I give you Marks and Spencer's, the grand opening.
But every story needs its villain.
Ah, Mark and Spencer Steeplejack. I've heard so much about you.
Who the bloody hell are you? And where'd you come from?
The name's Debenham Snide. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Owner and proprietor of the noted London high street chain Debenhams. I'm sure you've heard of me, the young entrepreneur of Kensal Green, now making waves on the stock exchange. As it happens, I've been expanding my own enterprise up north, as it were, and by pure chance we'll be having a grand opening of my very own in 2 days' time. I do hope you can attend. You shouldn't have much difficulty finding me. We'll be neighbours, in fact. Cast your eyes, if you would, on the building across the way there.
What, that skyscraper?
Is going to be a Debenhams, yes.
Well, You know what they say, boys? Competition is healthy for business, and I would hate to see two young brothers from Warrington trampled underfoot by, say, some rival multinational conglomerate so early in their business careers. Yes, that would be a pity.
Are you threatening us, Snide?
Please, I don't need to threaten anybody. No, I wish you boys every success that you're capable of. Oh, I see you sell food as well as clothes. Bit weird, isn't it? Might help myself to an oak smoked salmon and cream sandwich. Bit dry.
And every story needs a princess.
So, Shirley, I'm arranging a bit of a get-together tonight at my, humble abode. Few drinks, few laughs, that sort of thing. Wondered if you might, fancy tagging along.
Oh, well, Spencer, it's kind of you. I'm afraid I'm going to be visiting my mother tonight in hospital. She's just had her appendix out. Sorry, I'll see you Monday.
Shirley, well, fancy running into you.
Mark.
I was just thinking about you. Me and a couple of the other checkout girls are heading off on a night out round Warrington. Few drinks, few laughs, that sort of thing. Was wondering
It's no use, Mark. She's visiting her mother in hospital. She's just had both her appendixes out. It's a wonder she's still alive, actually.
I've really got to go. Fucking idiots.
But this is no ordinary fairy tale.
Hey, boss, you got another job for us?
I want you to find out everything you can about Mark and Spencer. And when you've finished, kill them.
You got it, boss.
My goodness, what's going on, Shirley?
Oh, they're in some kind of gun shootout with bloody Debenhams. I wish they'd back it in, they're upsetting the customers.
Bodies everywhere. How can this be happening, Shirley?
Pass me another round, Spencer.
In real life, there are no happy endings.
Well, we're gonna have to get the cleaners in to wipe all this blood up, Spencer.
First he steals a sandwich, and now this. I tell you, that Debenham Snide's really pissing me off.
I could have done without this today. Look at that massive queue at the checkouts.
There's no one serving him. Here, is Shirley on a lunch break, or what?
Shirley came back from a lunch break half hour ago. There's something wrong here.
Look, they've taken Shirley!
And so you see, Shirley, my dear, there's simply no way those two blundering buffoons can stop me now. You're simply a carrot on a stick, luring them haplessly into my little trap. And it's all thanks to you, Shirley.
You're off your head, you, mate.
Mock me if you will, my dear, but I assure you, my head is quite securely in place.
Then why are you telling me all of your plans then like a stereotypical villain?
Why? Because you'll be dead soon. And I can also assure you that it won't be pretty.
They don't like each other, but can these two brothers put their differences aside and work together, fulfilling their father's dying wish?
We need to put our differences aside, work together, and put this bloody disguise on.
Mark, I'm not dressing as a bloody chimney sweep. I'm not going to fall for this debacle. Not even sure they still have chimney sweeps.
Of course they've got fucking chimney sweeps. What century are you living in? How else do you clean the chimneys? Do you think fucking Father Christmas is going to come down and wipe his ass on sides?
Good day, you, Mark. But I don't have a better idea.
When the odds are stacked against them, can they triumph in the face of adversity?
Hello, chimney sweeps.
Chimney sweeps, come to sweep your chimneys. Debenham chimneys.
Yeah, the chimney sweeps. Welcome to Debenhams. Come on through. I'll show you, the chimneys.
See? I told you the chimneys would work.
That's far enough, boys.
Oh, bollocks.
We got him, boss.
Excellent. Bring them up to me, and remember, I want them alive.
This summer, ITV brings you the thrill of the big screen in your own living room.
Ah, Paulie. Where are the boys? Where are Mark and Spencer?
They gave us the slip, boss. But they won't get away next time. I got all my best men searching every corner. They ain't gonna get far.
You failed me, Polly Polka Dot. Do you know how I deal with failures?
He ties you up to a post and talks you to death.
Silence! I'm surrounded by prattling imbeciles. Goodbye, Paulie.
No!
You thought Marks and Spencer's was just a store. You thought wrong.
The game's up, Debenham Snide. Untie Shirley.
Mark! Spencer!
You've no right to do this. I'm going to be making a complaint to police. Ah, boys, I'm so glad you could drop in. I believe you've met my former employee. I'm a tolerant man, but my patience only stretches so far.
Fuck me, he's dead, Mark. Shot in the head.
I'm afraid I don't like incompetence and I don't like competition either. You, my dear boys, I believe satisfy both criteria. One step closer with that chimney sweeping equipment and you'll be joining the Employee of the Month down there. Need I remind you, I'm armed and quite mad, you know.
The bubbles burst, Snide. Your empire's crumbling. Look around you. One thing I could never understand. Why? Why go to all these lengths? Why do all of this?
Because I can do all of this. I don't just sell clothes. I am clothes. You think Woolworths closed down because of being massively economically unviable? You think CNA went under due to the entire management board mysteriously vanishing? No, it was all me. me! And you two are just another pair of weeds in my immaculate garden.
Yeah? And I bet you've got apple trees and they're rotten to the core in your garden, you bastard!
Spencer! No! No! You've killed Spencer, and now I'm going to kill you. Ah, it appears I'm out of bullets.
Get him, Mark. That's it. Right in the knackers.
No, don't let him get you in a headlock. Don't let him strangle you. Oh, God.
Die, you wretched whelp. Die! Die!
I can't look.
Don't you strangle my brother!
Spencer! Spencer, you're alive! I can't believe it!
Come on, Mark. We've got a shot to run.
Marks and Spencer, the beginning.
Guys? Fuck's sake.
Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is a podcast, listen to a podcast. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is the podcast, listen to the podcast. Full stop, do up, where did I park? Suitcase, main base, beware of the shark. Richard and Judy, Rosie and Jim. Tenuous segue, summertime gin. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is a podcast, listen to a podcast. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is the podcast, listen to the podcast. Well put, clean cut, sorry I'm late. New bike, alright, Henry VIII. Naked, sacred, yellow alert. Heard it, learned it, sensible shirt. Let's have a podcast, listen to a podcast. Here is the podcast, listen to the podcast. Podcast.